Today I will be showing you how I make homemade turkey chili. First, you're going to start off with some bell peppers and onion and of course garlic. I start off by cleaning my bell peppers. I'm going to slice, then dice them. And today we're going to be using red, yellow, and green. Once I dice my onions, I put a little bit to the side because I personally like the yellow onions on top of my chili as well, outside of the green onions. Once you finish mincing the garlic, you're going to set everything aside and then we're going to work on everything else. Go ahead, put this all aside, and we're going to start working on the meat. Go ahead and add a little bit of avocado oil or olive oil to the bottom of your pan. Let that get hot, and you're going to add in that turkey meat. I let my meat start to brown, and then I start to kind of mince it apart before I season it. Once your meat starts to kind of have this brown color and it starts to produce its own liquid, that's how I gauge when it's ready for some seasoning. So just about now, when you start to see it release that liquid, is where I'm going to add the seasoning. And for my seasoning, I just go in with some Lawry's, some garlic powder, black pepper. I think I did some paprika, some chili powder, and some cumin. And you're going to get that all evenly across. Once you kind of have that across the meat as evenly as you can, you're going to add in your veggies, which is your onions, bell pepper, and your garlic. Give that a nice little mix. And I kind of let this simmer a little bit. How I would gauge it is when your veggies start to soften a little bit or your meat is done. Either or, your own preference. Some people like the little crunch of veggie in the chili later on. I'm not a huge fan, so I do let my veggies kind of cook a little bit more than the average. Give it one nice last good mix, and then I'm going to take a can of tomato sauce and you're going to add that to the meat, and then you're going to fill that same can, get all that excess tomato sauce out, and you're going to also add that to the pot. Give that a nice mix, and you're going to kind of let this go ahead and simmer out. I let this come to a rolling boil before I kind of do anything else. So we're going to let that do its thing for a little bit. You want to kind of periodically stir it because you don't want everything to just go to the bottom and stick and burn. Give it one last good mix. And this is when we're going to add in our beans. Take a can of kidney beans, rinse them off really well, and you're going to add them to the pot. You want to get them all mixed in. And this is when I do a taste test. I like to taste my food just to make sure that it has all the seasonings. So go ahead and get a little piece of meat and taste it. I felt like this needed a second round of seasoning. That's why you taste your food to your liking. It may not need no extra seasoning. Mine needed extras. So I went ahead and just added a little bit more of everything I seasoned earlier. Now that all that seasoning is added, I'm going to make sure that it's mixed in really well. I'm going to turn this heat down and I'm going to let this simmer until those beans are done. Everything else is going to continue to cook. The meat's going to get even more tender and so are the veggies. And that's just how I like it. Now, when you're simmering it, you do want to come back and you want to stir periodically because it will stick to the bottom and it will burn and you would just ruin the entire pot. So every few minutes or so, you're going to come and you're going to stir it. This is when I shred my cheese, I steam my rice, or, whatever toppings that you're going to use. This is when I would prep that. And honestly, I just kind of clean up the kitchen as I'm, letting this cook out. We're going to put the top on it while it's on low so that it could simmer. And just keep coming back, keep coming back, keep coming back until your beans are soft. Once your beans are soft, you should be able to pull one out and break it on the side of the pot. And it comes out just like that. So you're going to turn that off and let it rest before serving. So I did white rice, top that with some chili, a nice generous amount of cheese, a dollop of daisy, and some green onion. And this turned out amazing. It is a must-try recipe, especially for fall. Like, comment, and subscribe.